the real origins of the werewolf myth. Under the pale light of the moon, when shadows stretch long across the earth, an ancient fear stirs, the fear of the beast within. We've all heard the stories: men who turn into wolves beneath a full moon, cursed souls hunted by silver bullets, torn between man and monster. But where did this story begin? Who first whispered the legend of the werewolf? And why has it haunted our imagination for centuries? Tonight, on Lune Lore, we journey into the real origins of the werewolf myth, a tale woven from superstition, survival, and something far deeper than horror. The first Wolfman. Long before Hollywood's hairy transformations and howling monsters, the werewolf existed in ancient myth, older than recorded history. The earliest known story of a man turning into a wolf comes from ancient Greece. The poet Ovid, in his work Metamorphoses, tells the story of King Lycaon, a proud and cruel ruler who dared to test the god Zeus. Lycaon served Zeus a meal of human flesh to see if the god could tell the difference. Outraged, Zeus struck him down and transformed him into a wolf. From that day, the name Lycaon became the root of the word lycanthropy, the very word we still use to describe werewolf transformation. But Greece wasn't alone. Across ancient Europe, tales of wolf-men appeared again and again, as if something deep in the human psyche needed this story to exist. Wolves, survival, and superstition. To understand the werewolf, we have to look at humanity's oldest rival, the wolf itself. For early humans, wolves were more than animals. They were predators competing for the same prey, cunning, fast, and eerily social. Wolves hunted in packs. They killed livestock. They sometimes killed people. And yet, humans saw something of themselves in these creatures: their hierarchy, their loyalty, their hunger. So, what happens when you look at your deadliest enemy and see your own reflection? That fear, that recognition, gave birth to the idea of men who could become wolves. In medieval Europe, villagers whispered of wanderers who prowled the forest at night, their eyes glinting like beasts. Some believed they were curse sinners, others thought they were witches in disguise. And when livestock vanished or a child went missing, there was always someone to blame: the werewolf. The witch trials of the wolfmen. Between the 15th and 17th centuries, as Europe's witch trials reached their fever pitch, werewolf trials spread across the continent like wildfire. In France, men were accused of tearing out throats and devouring bodies in the night. One of the most famous cases was Gilles Garnier, known as the Werewolf of Dole. He was a hermit, a quiet man, but when children began disappearing, fear turned to hysteria. Garnier confessed under torture to becoming a wolf and eating his victims. He was burned alive in 1573. Of course, today we recognize these as tragedies born from superstition, paranoia, and psychological illness, not monsters of fur and fawn. But in those times, the idea of transformation was terrifyingly real. People genuinely believed that evil could reshape a man's flesh and soul. The science behind the monster. Interestingly, what medieval people called a curse might have had a scientific explanation. Historians now believe some accused werewolves may have suffered from medical conditions such as hypertrichosis, excessive hair growth all over the body, or rabies, which causes aggression, fear of water, and biting behavior. In some cases, ergot poisoning, a fungus that grows on rye, caused hallucinations and madness. To frighten villagers, these symptoms looked exactly like evidence of a man losing control, becoming something savage. So in a world without science, a world lit only by moonlight and fire, these transformations made perfect sense. Werewolves beyond Europe. But Europe didn't own the myth. Far from it. In Norse mythology, warriors called berserkers and Ulfhednir were said to channel the spirits of bears or wolves before battle, becoming unstoppable. In Native American folklore, there are tales of skinwalkers, humans who can transform into animals through dark rituals. In Africa, stories of wer-hyenas describe shape-shifting predators that hunt under moonlight. Across every culture, The pattern repeats, humans merging with beasts, crossing the boundary between civilization and savagery. It's as if the werewolf isn't just one myth, but a mirror showing us what we fear most, losing our humanity. The modern werewolf. Fast forward to the 20th century, and the werewolf takes on a new form. Hollywood brings him to life in the 1941 classic The Wolf Man, starring Lon Chaney Jr., a tragic figure cursed to transform under the full moon. This version of the myth cemented everything we now associate with werewolves: the full moon trigger, the silver bullet weakness, the tortured duality of man and monster. Later, the werewolf evolved again in an American Werewolf in London, The Howling Underworld, Teen Wolf, and beyond. From horror to romance to fantasy, the werewolf became whatever we needed it to be, a symbol of passion, rage, transformation, or even freedom. Every generation reinvents the beast to fit its fears and desires. That's what keeps the myth alive. It changes, just like its subject. Why we still believe. So, why does the werewolf endure? Why, after thousands of years, does the idea of becoming the beast still grip our imagination? Maybe because deep down the werewolf isn't really about monsters. It's about us. It's the story of losing control, of letting instincts overpower reason. It's about the part of the human spirit that refuses to be tamed. We've built cities, laws, and religions to keep our inner wolves at bay. But under the right moon, we still feel it, that pulse of wildness in our blood. And maybe, just maybe, that's what makes us human after all. If you enjoyed this journey through moonlit myth and legend, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell for more stories from the shadows. Until next time, keep your silver close and your wild heart closer.